Australia. We're just working on a dragonfly board today, so we're going to put one together and we're just going to show you how easy it is to make. I've actually prepped the board with a mix of PVA, half PVA and half water, just to seal it. What I'm doing now is I'm using a mix of vitreous, which will keep the cost down on my project, and our Cosmic tiles. So just cutting them in half. They do have ridges on the back. I find it's easy to cut against the ridges, so not going that way, it's much easier cutting that way. Same with the vitreous. Just keep your wrist straight, you should get a nice straight cut. And all we've done, we've put one in each corner and we'll just cut them smaller, shaping them where we need to shape them. Put it over here. So just pat the glue down just so when you stick the tile down it doesn't all ooze up between the gaps. And I'm using prep glue today, but you can use Wild Bond glue, it's fine. So what I usually do is I put a couple on each corner and then I'll work from this end back towards that way. That way you get a nice even amount of tiles. Start on doing the wings now. I've got a 10mm tile, mirror square tile, which I'm going to cut into 3, so they're going to be quite sort of tiny. But just pop them into your cutter, make sure you get it right into the center, and then just squeeze down. This one, and then in again. Okay, now we've finished all of the border around here. We've chosen a nice purple opaque. And we've decided we're going to fill in this body with some orange stained glass. So all I've done is I've got a few stained glass pieces. This one's called Space Mango. Nice and easy to cut. So all I've done is just cut it into strips to achieve the tail. So just some nice sort of long skinny bits, about the same width as what his tail was. For the end one here, I've just rounded the edge off, so it's just a matter of putting your cutters on an angle and just taking those sharp points off to start with, like that. And then the same thing again, if you have your cutters on an angle, you can just grind those little tiny points. Ever so gently, and that'll just give you a nice rounded shape. And that's just if you haven't got a grinder, otherwise give them a grind on the grinder, but otherwise that is just about near perfect. So just a tiny little bit off, you can almost hear it just grinding away, and that would go there. And then I'll just carry on doing the cuts up here. For his body, I'm going to cut little tiny little circles, so same thing again, piece of glass, just cut a strip off. I want to just get some small squares, and it's a good idea to cut into a container like I've got here, that just catches all the little bits and pieces. So we're going to take one of these. I'm just going to take off the 4 points that was hopefully going to give me a nice sort of a round shape. So it doesn't have to be perfect because I want it to have a ragged look. So just taking off the points. And this is probably the only time I put my cutters on an angle, is if I just want to do a tiny bit of shaping. Otherwise, always keep your wrist straight when you're cutting tiles. It'll give you a nice straight cut. And I seem to like working with stained glass. It's just cuts beautifully, has no ridges on the back, so it's flat both sides, always adheres really well. We'll start gluing those down. So tweezers are a really good idea about now when you're getting into these little tiny pieces. So we've got a few to work with, and we'll put our glue in there and we'll get gluing them down. now we're going to work on the background. We're going to use a marine glacier glass. It's got like a little bit of purple in there too, so it's quite pretty. It just picks up the colours. It's going to be our background. So same thing again, just cut it down to some workable sizes. Just sort of random shapes. They don't have to all be triangles, but just a random cut. A lot of these we're going to trim to fit them in anyway, so we just want to get them into smaller pieces. So just working a small area at a time. I'm just putting some glue in, smearing it around so it's nice and flat. So it's about piecing it back like a puzzle, cutting your glass so they do fit in the gaps. Okay, so we've finished all the background. Now this is sort of a beginner's project, as long as you take the time with it and just enjoy doing it. There's no rush, but as you can see, I'll just show you close up the background. I find when we do classes, this is what people struggle with, is the background, is the filling in. So we always say trim them to fit the best you can. It does come a lot of practice, but if you just eliminate those awkward gaps, so every time you put down a piece of glass, always think about your next piece. How can you get it in? If the first piece of glass you put down has a little overhang, a little tail that sticks out, just trim it off so you've always got a nice space for your next piece to go into.